Hey guys, welcome back to the Ride Waxing and UK One Wheel channel. And it is the UK One Wheel channel because I have no skis, I have no snowboards on the bench. So what I'm going to be doing in this video and possibly video 2, because there's a lot to do, is I'm going to replace the tyre, I'm going to fit some lifesavers, I'm going to show you how easy or how hard that is. Now Tom found it very, very hard. I've got a different technique I'm going to try, but I'll show you some very comical imagery of him trying to fit his. And I'll be placing the grip tape on the rear. And the reason for doing all of this is I've decided to go full finless. So I used to ride with flight fins all the time. I'm going to strip those off and I'm going naked. Hey. And the reason for doing so is because I got so confident with flight fins riding these trails behind me here. And if you haven't seen this video, do go and check it out. It's a really good video, I must say so myself. I got too confident and I had a really bad fall and it really knocked my confidence, and I'm trying to find my edge back again and get back into the flow of it. And I find riding without flight fins is sketchy as hell, but it does tune in your riding. Tom has done so and he has done a superb job. He is really ripping these trails up, struggling to keep up with him, and I've got to bring my A game. So I've got to get my head back into this, I've got to get onto it. And also I love the fact that I can do tricks. So on this video, about 16 minutes, 17 minutes in, 15 minutes in, I don't know. Anyway, towards the end of the video, I actually do teach myself to ghost ride, and I've learned a technique now to ghost ride, and I explain that. So if you haven't checked that video out, do check it out. I'll put it in the description below. And also like sex changes, and I want to kind of like just mix it up a little bit and not just ride trails with flight fins flat out as fast as I can. Awesome fun as it is, but it also adds a whole more complexity to riding, and I think it'll enhance my talent of riding a one wheel more. Plus, these things here, the flight fin mounts, I've actually cracked these across here, and I have a crack going from there up to there from many falls, and that I think possibly has stemmed from my big fall maybe, I don't know, but yeah, so these are semi-redundant, hence why I've got a flight fin fender for my XR. When I first bought it, I just sprayed it up and funked it up a little bit, kind of matching with the lifesavers, so I might fit that, I don't know. We'll see what the board looks like with or without it. I do quite like the look of the flight fin setup with the fender. I do like the look of that, it does look quite cool. So we've got lots to do. I'm going to see how long this video is. I am going to get out and change the tyre first, and the reason for changing the tyre is twofold. Because I'm going to be riding a lot more tarmac, etc. I had a puncture in this, quite a bad one. I did actually repair it, and I actually fixed the tyre just here, and I actually got it plugged by a motor factor. That one's off. So it creates a high spot. Hopefully you'll see that in this video just now. You hear the board go woo, 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 woo. Because I have a high spot, you get this vibration, and it's really, really annoying. It's a shame really, because I've got quite a bit of tread left on this tyre. But however, got hold of Craft and Ride, they hooked me up. They didn't give it to me free, I had to pay for it, but I bought myself a new tyre. This is a hosier tyre. Now, this one is 11.6.-6, so 11.0-6 type 6. This is an 11.0 5.5 by 6. So I think I'm right in saying this surface here is 5.5 inches, this is 6, and hopefully this new hosier 5.5 tyre will give it a little bit more funkinality, and I'll be able to really carve it up and hopefully do a few more tricks. So we'll see how that rides. Like I say, I've ridden this tyre a lot, but you can tell, I don't know if you can, on this disgusting board, there is a bulge right there. If not, I'll show you a quick video of that now on the screen, just here or here. And yeah, it's really, really annoying. So I'm going to change this out first. When changing that, I'm going to fit these, and then I might speed video me fitting the grip tape, because that's pretty self-explanatory. You heat it up, you pull it off, you stick the new stuff on, job done. And yeah, while I'm waffling on, we're going to strip this board down. I'm going to take you through it on how to take it off and how to change your tyre with 3 bits of wood. Let's hopefully it goes well. So stay with me guys, let's get this board in place. Right, so what do we need to get this wheel out? We've got these 2 hub bolts here, we need to undo those on both sides. We need to take the foot plate off, we've got to take the flight fin off, because what we need to do is get to this cable, which is just under here, this side. We need to get into here, so we're going to have to get into this screw here to take off this cable holder, which is just under here, and we're going to take off the bang bumpers. I couldn't think of the word of it. So we're going to take those off, and then we can get to where the wire actually goes in. We're going to take that housing off. But if you stay with me, we're going to crack on with this, and yeah, let's get this stripped apart. So I'm going to pop you on time lapse as we burn along. You can see by the mud on here, it is disgusting. This is trail riding. So we're going to clean all this up as well. Ugh, disgusting. Right, let's crack on. Okay, so there we go. One bang bang removed. Do love these. Absolutely great. Give you a little bit more ground clearance. Would recommend those. That's what I need to get to. Now, I did put a little bit of silicone along here to stop any dirt and moisture getting in. Having said that, as you can just tell by the dirt there, we do gather a lot of dirt from the trail riding. But we'll clean all this up. I'll get all this out and we'll pull that out because that's what I need to get to. So I need to get the wire from this wheel. So we're going to take these two screws out just here. And what I am doing is, always a little bit of a tip, is put your screws back in the holes so you know exactly which ones come with which, and then put them in a nice safe place. I will actually be cleaning all this up in a bucket of hot soapy water, so when it does go back on, it will look all clean and tidy. So there's that in a nice safe place, and onwards we go. We're going to take these two screws out just here, and then we're going to got to get to this little screw just here. I might actually use a drill and just drill that out. I don't know. I don't really want to take off this bottom protector if I can help it. So I might come up with an ingenious idea just on there, and we've got to get into here, and then we can crack these bolts off and then pull the wheel out and lift it out of the board. So stay with me, guys, and we'll get on with this. So we're going to do some time lapse. I'm going to get this screw out just here, and then we're going to start cracking these off, and I'll speak to you in a second. Okay, so what we've gone and done is we've just taken that out there. Don't lose that, and you mustn't lose these screws because they're really hard to find. So another little top tip, just put that somewhere safe, and then put these screws back in the wheel. And that way, you're not going to lose them. Just literally screw them back in. Don't need to do them up tight. Just nip them up so they're not going to come undone. Because these can quite easily, with all the dirt, get lost. And you really do need that because you don't want to pinch this wire, and you need that plate to go on. And what I found is if you release these two bolts here and this side, it actually allows the frame to come away, and then it allows you to move that cover opposed to trying to flip the cover out because it does catch just under this lip. So another little top tip just there. We're going to crack off obviously these ones just here, which I've done. I'm going to flip the board over, and I'm going to take the top part of the flight, sorry, not the flight fin, yeah, flight fin housing and the front foot pad. But you must be very careful because there's a cable under this front foot pad. You don't want to dislodge. We need to get into there to be able to get hold of. Not only that, I want to clean this up anyway. So we're going to take all this off. So I'll see you in a second. Right, there we go. Nice and minging. So we've got dirt everywhere here. And that's why it's very easy to lose the screws. Yeah, what a mess. So pull this one up nice and gently. And just under here, you'll see we have a yellow wire. And that is the yellow wire that we want to just disconnect the foot pad, because this wire just here, that one is the one that we want to disconnect, because that's the one that goes to, I don't know if you can see that, this one here is what goes to the wheel, and that's what drives the motor. So that's one we want to disconnect, and this is the one for the foot plate. So we're just going to crack off the release nut and then unscrew. So you've got a release nut just here, you unlock that one, and you just unscrew the yellow one. Just being very careful, because I've had problems, and if you haven't checked my videos out, then do check my videos out, because I had all sorts of problems with my foot plate. And we just pull that out. There is a locating lug on the top of that, which will locate it back into the plug, and that's that out. So we can take that off, and I can clean that up separately. That's another thing removed, which is great. It's coming apart nicely. And now we're exposing this housing here, which is obviously the bit that we've siliconed just underneath, and we need to take this out here as well. So we're going to take this cover off because I've undone the screws. But again, me being me, I siliconed it all in. So I just want to make sure that that comes out. And to help my waterproofing, there we go. We're just pulling this box just out here, which is just going to help me gain access. But again, I've siliconed it in, got to peel it off, and there we go. I've siliconed in these bits just here and here, which I'll break off and redo. I'm going to give this a good clean as well. Siliconed along there because that's where the front foot pad is, and it stops moisture getting in to this back controller. So yeah, that obviously exposes all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, put that to one side, and we've got to release this. So I'm going to flip the board back over again, just like so, and then we expose this white clip. Now this is a white clip. Now these are very tight to get on and off, but you've got to release that, and then obviously you can wiggle the plug free. So we're going to quickly do that. We'll grab a screwdriver. Now what I will say, this is the very first time I have done this on my own. Tom is normally here guiding me because he's taken his board apart loads, and this is relatively new to me, so I am a little bit worried. But I've seen it done, so surely it can't be that hard. Famous last words. There must be a sprung clip just here, so you pull that out and you push that down, and we should be able to get that off. Famous last words. Now this is a tricky bit. There we go. So just leave that a little bit there, and then pushing down on this little black pusher tab, because this yellow bit is what holds that up, and then you can release the plug. So we've got that nice and loose now. There we go. So that plug is coming off. So what I need to do is ascertain, get this screw undone here. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to pull that off, which is a pain. Just trying to think of another solution. Okay guys, so I've got a 7mm drill bit, drilled a hole, and I can access this screw, so I didn't have to pull off this protected cover. Everybody's happy. That worked a little treat. And again, with this little screw just here, if I can pull it just out, it is very, very small. So again, very easy to lose. And that will remove this cover just in here, which holds the cable away from the tyre. And again, what I would always suggest is take your screw and just put it back in the actual hole it came from, and then you can clean that up with everything else. You're not going to lose the screw, and you know it's the right screw going in the hole. So again, no need to over tighten, but we can clean that up as well. Pop that into the pile of bits, and we've got a nice tidy hole to put it back. So 7mm drill bit, just drill the hole out, and then if you've got the rail protectors, it just allows you to keep the rail protectors on. So what we're going to do now, we need to take this tyre off and take the wheel out of the hub. So we're going to just quickly flip it on its side. I'm just going to zoom out with the camera quickly. We're going to take the hub bolts out. Going to unplug the plug fully. There we go. And we're going to also unplug the other sensor again, cracking off that, unscrewing. Oh, my blue tapes fell off the yellow one. At least we know which is which. There we go. So that wire is now free. Now do be careful with this wire. You do not want to cut or damage this wire. Otherwise, you've got to replace the motor. So it's super important that you look after that wire. And I'll show you why in a minute when taking the tyre off. So we're going to take this last hub bolt out. And one thing I have forgotten to do is do the same with this plate here on the other side, because you've got to allow the cable that feeds from here to the battery to run past the wheel. And I'll show you that. Right, so now we can take this last hub bolt out. simply lift the frame up. Hey presto. One frame, one wheel. Look at the grime on that. Disgusting. We'll be cleaning that all up in a bit. We're going to pop that to one side. We'll clean that up. And yeah, well, hey, pop that down there. And we have one wheel, hub and tyre. And like I say, you must be ever so careful with this wire at all times. And I must admit, I will clean all this up, make sure it's all tidy, which I'm going to do in a second. So you're going to see a bit of a revamp on the bench, and I'll see you in a sec. From this manky old wheel with no lifesavers to a brand new tyre and lifesavers, just like this. There we go. That is looking fresh. That contour on that tyre is lovely and convex. I think this is going to look superb and ride so well. It's really quite stretched on the rim as well. You can see it just here, and those blue lifesavers are just brilliant. And again, always remember, put your screws in. But anyway, I'm going to show you now how I got that tyre looking minging to looking like this. And how easy was it to fit these lifesavers? Really good tip coming up on those. So stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, guys, so what we're going to do is take the valve cover off, and we're going to unscrew. We've got all these little devices here, which unscrews the inner part of the tyre. We'll get a lot of gunk come out of here, because obviously we've got the green slime inside the tyre. So if you get a puncture, that then, for the velocity of the wheel spinning round, flings the goop to the outside, filling up the cut and stopping the puncture. So just take some of the air out of that, so you don't lose a little bit. Okay, let's speed things up. Right, there's the valve just there, taking that out, which is cool. I'm just going to lay that actually somewhere nice and safe, as much as I can get some of those. I'll put that together, and there we go. No air in the tyre, as you can tell. Just a lot of goop. Right, how did we get this tyre off this rim successfully? With 3 bits of wood. That's how. So let's have a quick look of how I actually do this. Okay, so 3 bits of wood. 1, 2, 3. Well, now we've got this cable here you've got to be really careful of, and this is my way that I've pinched off my mate Tom, the best way to take this tyre off this rim. So we put this in here like so. So the actual wire itself is free and it's not rubbing on the floor. Simply put it between the 2 bits of wood. You get 3rd said bit of wood, and you give it a whack. Bosh, there we go. Broken the bead, that side, and that side. There we go. 1 tyre bead. Let's put it back in the stand and take a look from the top. Okay, so we've broken the bead there, lovely. We've just got to do this side, which we're going to do in a second. It's exactly the same way. Just be careful of the power cable. And the wood that I use is simply just off of a pallet. So if you want, grab an old pallet from the dump, whatever, and yeah, use those bits of wood. Anything special, just 3 bits of wood. So I'm going to put you on speed, and I'm just going to break this bead, and we're going to pop the tyre off. Stay with me. Right, 1 tyre off, and as you can tell, there is a lot of goop in there, pretty minging. I'll get this all cleaned up, make sure this is all nice and shiny, and then what we can do is get the new tyre on. It's pretty much the same, but in reverse. You've got to make sure you use this lip here when locating the tyre, but it's kind of just the same way of taking it off. This lube actually does help lubricate the actual rim itself to take the tyre off when you're obviously putting it through. Just be very conscious, obviously, of that cable underneath. So I'm going to clean all this up, And we'll have a look and see what it looks like in a bit. Okay, so let's compare the tyres. We've got the 11.0 by 6.0-6, and we've got the 11.0 by 5.5-6. So difference on tyres, 11 is this whole size here, 6 is the width, which is this bit here, and the 6 on the side, which is the last 6, which is just there, that is this bit just here. So this bit and this bit is the same. The 11 is the overall height of the tyre is the same. So the difference is the 5.5, obviously on this one. Now, if we compare the two tyres together, you can actually see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. And we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on this one. So they've basically elongated these two. I think the tread on this does sort of look somewhat nicer. You can't beat a nice fresh tyre. Cannot beat it. And this one here is where we had the tyre repair. So if I just spin this round, there's the tyre repair just said. If we have a look inside, as you can tell, it's all nice and clean now. There's a repair. So we've repaired it. And if you're going to think about repairing your tyre, don't. Because it's really annoying. Because you get this whirring noise. So with this lovely new tyre, I must admit, well looking forward to fitting that. And when you actually lay the two tyres together, you can actually see the difference. So the 5.5, if we were to line up the tread just there, so lining these two lines up here, when you come over here, as you can see, it's ½ an inch narrower on the actual tread pattern itself. So if we line those two up there, we've got ½ inch here, quarter inch here, and we'll have a quarter inch this side. So it's a lot rounder in profile, and I think this will be, and it is obviously slightly skinnier, so it's going to be an interesting fit to get that back onto the motor. And then once we've got that on, we've got to fit the lifesavers. So I'm going to pop in the stand. I'm going to struggle like anything. It's going to look nice and easy, but I'm going to get this onto here. Here we go. Well, that was not easy, but my two little bits of wood worked a treat, because what I've been able to do is actually put the cable, so you're not trapping this cable here, and this between the two bits of wood, and then apply all my pressure. So if this was down here, like so, applying all my pressure with my knees, squeezing the tyre on. So the side that you want to fit the tyre on is with the cable down, because you have this recess in the wheel which allows this tyre to slide in further, so you can ease it over the edge. So the best way, I suppose, to explain that, let's pop those back in there so I don't damage them. I'll just think about that for a minute. Is that's on the side of the bench where the cable is. Just be careful with the cable. The tyre goes on from the top in, then it allows you to use the inside rim to squeeze the top of the tyre on. But a little strap does help, because it just concertina the tyre in a little bit and just help with the load. But you need to put a lot of weight onto it. That was not easy. And I can't imagine for 1 second these are going to be easy, getting them onto the rim. But we'll have a go. I'm going to pop you on time lapse. I'm going to warm these bad boys up in some boiling water for a good 10-15 minutes. Then we're going to go stretching these over here before blowing the tyre up. Hey ho, lifesavers. Here we go.